necessarily have had any access to education, but they decided they wanted to educate their children, and so they constructed these classrooms. As you can see, there's quite a lot of challenges, and sure, these classrooms are old, and I said we call this an old school and a new school tour, but it's really, really important to know that there's still thousands and thousands of children in Kenya that are learning in classrooms such as this. Classrooms without floors, without windows. There's tons of obvious challenges. I mean, you could write with chalk on this mud wall, but now there's no mud wall anymore. The lighting in here, really, really terrible. Obviously the floor is a bit of an issue. So right now it's dry season, or we're sort of in between seasons. But you can imagine that when it's really, really dry and like you have a whole bunch of little tiny kids and they're here and they're walking around and they're making all this dust. And so all of a sudden there's like huge dust storms in your classrooms. But the sad thing is that we're also on a little bit of a slant, and there's rainy seasons here. So you can imagine what it would be like in rainy season when it's teeming rain outside on this tin roof. It's so loud, and all of a sudden the rain is like flooding into your classrooms, and the teacher's like pulling up her skirt so that she can like traipse through the mud to like correct her students' work. It's not super conducive for education. You're all sitting two to a desk, one to a desk. Typically these desks would sit like maybe 4 or 5 students.
How many?
4 or 5. And you can imagine how disheartening it would be if you were a student and uniforms aren't free, school books aren't free, that kind of thing. You can imagine how disheartening as a student it would be if there's 4 or 5 of you sitting in here and it's getting a bit distracting because there's a kindergarten class right next to you and they're trying to like learn their ABCs and they're really, really loud and noisy, and that's making other kids in your classroom a little bit loud and noisy, and you're trying to focus and you're trying to study, and there's 4 or 5 of you sitting in this desk, and then you're writing and you're trying to do your work and someone distracts you, so you turn around, and when you turn around you knock your only notebook into the muddy floor.